Do you feel like you're not able to stick with your eating habits? Like you have a roller coaster feeling when it comes to eating really well with food for a while and then not eating so well? So many of our method members come to us after realizing that they have been in what I call a start and stop cycle with their eating habits. The start and stop cycle is what prevents you from experiencing that balance, that ease, and consistency with your eating habits. So let me break that down for you a little bit in a super easy to understand way, because if you're struggling to maintain your eating habits on a daily basis, I have a hunch that you've been likely experiencing this cycle and you might even be in it right now. So there are 3 phases to this start and stop cycle. The first phase is what we call the all-in phase. You usually enter this phase after you feel like you've been off track or fallen off the bandwagon with your eating habits. So you decide that you're gonna put all of your energy, all of your effort into gaining control and eating really healthy again. What this often looks like is restricting, it's regulating the amount of types of foods you eat or when you eat, and this could either mean going on a new diet, a plan, a detox, or forming a set of rules that you think will help you stay on track. You may even say to yourself that you're never allowed to have sugar or no carbs or any other food that you've labeled as bad, and you may also give yourself a cheat day or a cheat food. You may also be counting calories, counting macronutrients, reading every food label super meticulously, tracking points as a way to regulate what you're eating. So when you're in this phase, you are hyper-focused on eating perfectly, achieving health, trying to be so good with sticking to a certain diet or a plan. And in many cases, your focus may be so fixed on getting it right, doing it perfectly, so that you can achieve this specific result or eat perfect, that it can feel like it's so time consuming with your mental energy. It's taking all of your willpower and all of your motivation just to stay on track. And I think it's safe to say that you've probably tried one of these things at one point or another, or maybe you're even doing some of these behaviors right now. And I just want to let you know that's okay. Many times we turn to this as a solution because we're eager, we're so motivated, and sometimes we're just desperate for true change, and we just want something to finally work. It can also be because you simply don't have any other solutions or ways that guide you to eat well without having to use those behaviors. But those behaviors are not designed to be a long-term solution. These types of plans or diets or trends that have this all-in approach are designed to be a 14-day, 30-day quick fix to help you lose weight, achieve a specific goal, but they aren't designed for your daily life, nor do they take into consideration your unique body or in a sustainable manner. And this is why studies show that dieters end up gaining weight back within 12 months, because they're so focused on making short-term changes to see those results, but not on long-term behavior change. It's also really unrealistic and also unhealthy to think that you can avoid sugar or carbs or any other food that you believe is bad for the rest of your life. We preach at Nutrition Strip that food is nourishment for our bodies on a cellular level. But it's also important to take pleasure in account and enjoyment in account to food. It plays so many beautiful roles in our life, and it's really important to honor those. So when you're eating less, or you're avoiding foods, or you're practicing any other eating habits that are designed to be a quick fix, research has shown that it actually makes you more hyper-focused on that food that you can't have, and it intensifies your want for it. So if you've ever had that feeling of like weakness for a particular food, or you simply don't have enough willpower or motivation to stick with a certain way of eating, that's absolutely not your fault. It's because these diets, plans, and regulated ways of eating create a mentality of can't have, aren't allowed to have, off limits, which leads to food preoccupying your mind. But if you don't learn how to reframe your thoughts and let go of these short-term fixes, eventually one of 2 things will happen during this all-in phase. Either you burn out completely and give in when you're around those foods that you've labeled off limits, or you're faced with a situation where this rigid way of eating just doesn't work and it leads you to feeling off track. So we're all human, and I am assuming that you have experienced this sense of being off track with your eating habits. And I have too. That's completely normal. The key difference is some of us are easily able to reflect, adjust, and realign with confidence and flexibility to our regular eating habits, while those who are stuck in this start and stop cycle end up feeling guilt, frustration, pressure, stress, or any negative emotions as a result of their choices. And because the way that you were eating was really challenging to maintain, when you do get off track, it can often be for a week, a month, many months, and not paying attention to your nutrition needs as you regain the time, the willpower, and motivation to start again. So I'm sure that you can relate to this as well, saying things like, I'll start again Monday. I'll start up after the summer when I have more time. I'll start again after the holidays when there's not as many sweets around. I'll start when I'm happy, XYZ. All of these things are an all-out mentality, where you're saying if you're not 100% in, then it's not worth doing. But your health is so important, and ignoring your nutritional needs for any period of time and swinging between these two extremes of all in, all out, are not supporting your well-being or the goals that you have for yourself for life. Now, what happens when you're in this cycle is that at this point, you're experiencing guilt for having this staying off track mentality. You may be saying to yourself, I need a reset. I need to get back on track. What can I undo to just get back where I should be? This guilt then leads you to seek out ways to try to undo or make up those bad choices by being overly strict, rigid, structured with yourself moving forward so it doesn't happen again. This is self-regulation, and it brings you right back into this all-in phase that I talked about earlier. Now, while this start and stop cycle can look so different for each of you and can also have a lot of different levels of severity, I think it's safe to say and believe that you have found yourself in this cycle before. This cycle is so common, and it's not supportive for your short-term or your long-term goals. And your energy is much better spent looking for a balanced approach to nourish yourself well. What's so transformational about reclaiming balance with the eating habits that you have is it makes it so much easier for you to just eat well. It allows you to cultivate a positive experience with food. It guides you to be more compassionate in the way that you're taking care of yourself, all of which are so important for building practices that support you for life. If you're ready to get out of this cycle for good and explore how to build eating habits that are easy, aligned, and enjoyable, sign up for my free workshop on my mindful nutrition method, where I'll walk you through how to nourish yourself well without needing to follow any diet, any plan, or program, so you can feel confident, you can feel at ease with your food choices, and trust your body.